The cannibalization of my old PCs continues. Now I have 2 monitors. That's pretty awesome. Well, it's not really, but it's pretty awesome having 2 monitors. Yeah.
But anyway, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Glacier Kano here today to do another one of those One Mad Podcasts things on the TheCanoCam. It's the TheCanoCam, and I have a crockpot. So, man, this is going to be the topic of discussion the entire hour. Is just going to be this one crockpot here. Not this pillow anymore. This pillow... It's pretty amazing, but crockpots are the new trend that's going to be in 2017. 2017, everybody's going to be talking about the crockpot and how crockpots are sweeping the nation. They're like the new hot cakes and whatnot, or hot plates. It was hot cakes, right? Not hot plates. Although hot plates are always good too, right? But, I just remembered. I know I did actually hit it. I was very concerned because I have my watch on this time, so then I can try to time things better, because I have a hard time seeing potentially with my new setup for my monitors, because I have my one monitor and I have my second monitor, which is pretty awesome, because then it makes things a little bit easier when I'm editing things. I could just have like a little Word document open. Well, not really Word, because it's a Word pad. I have my document open and I'm just like, okay, this is a funny moment. I'm going to put this in the best of 2016. Yeah. Or best of 2017. Or best of 2014. Because I'm going to go back in time. Always a thing to be doing, potentially. Because why not? And speaking of time travel and whatnot, crockpots. If you have a crockpot, then it ends up being magical and you go through time with it. It's just like the blenders and whatnot. Me holding this up here for so long makes it almost seem like this is sponsored, which that would be hilarious. If I actually got a sponsor, that would be amazing. But no, I won that thing. That was during the Christmas party. That was just like the other day. I think I might actually put that down there. But then again, this is good for thumbnails. This could be a thumbnail right here. So I'm gonna keep this up here. Maybe with the tag up, so then it looks awkward. And then that will be in the thumbnail. If you can spot this in the thumbnail, you win. Speaking of sponsored, no. But still, like, that's... I think the biggest topic of discussion right now is that, like, this is about 24 hours ago. Yeah, well, it is about 24 hours ago. I already was 2 drinks in to a night of drinking for my company's Christmas party. So, it is... Well, there's 2 stations here in Red Deer that I work for, and then there's also, like, the hub of the south. That there's, like, 2 stations in Brooks. There is a station in Stettler, and then there's also Drumheller. So, there's a lot of people, and everybody likes to drink, and there is an open bar that's like... yeah, if from 6 until 7 o'clock, you can just go and get free drinks. So... what I did is I got there. I was told, like, a very smart thing early on, because I didn't actually know that, like, when you go to a bar, you usually think that you would get 1 drink, and then you go down and you drink it. No, what you do is you grab 2 drinks. You say, hey, I want 2 of those beers. I want 2 beers. Give me beers. And then they're just like, okay. But also, maybe not so much okay, because I think that the woman that was actually bartending might not have entirely been English. I am not too sure, but I don't think she was completely English. But, because, also, I asked for a couple of different drinks, and she just like, wait, she didn't actually know that she had them. That's essentially what it is, because I said very clearly what I wanted. She didn't understand, so I just basically pointed, and I got a couple things. But yeah, you grab 2, you go sit down, get back in line, get another 2, go sit down, get back in line, and basically on the table... Oh man, I'm happy that I'm with provincial drinkers, because I like to drink, but only when I get it for free, and that basically means like one of these Christmas party things, because I don't ever drink, other than, still, Christmas parties, I guess. But I can drink a lot when it's a Christmas party. Yeah? So, Yeah, they're just like, they're the ones that drink more often. They just like, they gave me the idea of getting 2 drinks at once. And like, our table was just covered in bottles. There were beer bottles everywhere. It was amazing. And yeah, some of them were empty, but a lot of them were full for like the first hour of just drinking. But Christmas parties are like, that's the best thing about radio. How about that? It's one of the best things about radio is Christmas parties, because you get ahead, you get the true drinks, you chug, well, you try to chug one and realize, oh no, I don't have the capability of actually chugging anything. I can't chug beer, I can't chug water. Like, this is as fast as I can drink water. And then you have to stop. Because you drink as much as you can until you run out of air, but then when you run out of air, how do you keep chugging? I don't understand how people do it. So it doesn't make any sense to me. I just tried to chug it. I almost spilled all over my suit because I was wearing a suit. Can you tell that like I was still partially drunk this morning? My brain is not completely fixed yet, because, you know, I don't remember what the decay rate or whatever you want to say. It's like the half-life. The half-life of beer and the half-life of Gordon Freeman drinking beer, which would make it, oh, so much of a different game, because then Gordon Freeman would be so talkative when he's actually drunk. But what was I even saying again? Yeah, that I might still have a little bit of the alcohol in my system because it takes a long time, and I woke up drunk this morning. So if you wake up drunk in the morning, you know you had a lot to drink, and somehow I have the capability of having that much to be drunk in the morning, which is probably not a good thing. Probably not. But at the same time, it was worth it for me, because that was I was challenging myself, partially. Not really, but you get as many on the table as possible, and then you win. And then, like, the rest of the night, I didn't have to pay for anything for alcohol, because I had all my beer on the table already. And when you have all your beer on the table, you just walk around, and also, when people are just like, oh yeah, cheers, then I just grab 2 bottles, and I'm just like, cheers! I can cheers with 2 bottles. Then also I had, like, a glass of wine there at the same time, too, which is, of course, I mix the 2 together. Because if you're drinking wine, you mix yourself some white with the red, and then you figure out that it tastes better that way. Because also, I think I found out that, like, I think I might actually like red wine better. It's very strange, because red wine has more, like, flavor, kind of, in a way. You're going to flavor country! That's gonna be a new country station. And then they're gonna just have a bunch of wine all over it. That's what their logo should be. Is that like it's a white logo kind of thing, but it's just like they spilled a bunch of wine all over it by accident. And they're just like, oh, this wasn't even meant to be. We're gonna change our name. We should change our name right now. It's a brilliant idea. I can't believe it. I'm gonna move this over slightly, because I pretty much always just talk like directly into the mic here, and then you can't see me. And then you can only get expression via eyebrows. And eyebrows mean I'm smiling. So that was essentially my night last night, and that's why my voice is also blown out today, as you can possibly tell. And that's why when I just did the intro to the Best of 2016 right before this video. So I was doing the epic voice, like, announcer movie trailer guy, because the fact that, like, my voice is deep enough for that right now. It's deep enough, like, when I woke up this morning, I was deep enough to do Keith David. I could have done Keith David multiple times over, if you know what I'm saying. Voicing. Definitely voicing. So, anyway, misdirections. I gotta stop doing that. It really hurts right now. Because of the fact that I was doing that one voice for so much, because I do a lot of takes whenever I do the Best of 2016 opening, or Best of 2015 sexually. What? So I take a lot of takes. Yeah, some of them are actually good takes, well, specifically, I have like one good take pretty much out of all of it. I try to do it once over, fail, do it again, fail, just keep doing that until I get one that's pretty good, and then I do a different one that's slightly different, but not really. It's the same, but I just have different words and different metaphors. You know? Metaphors. They're like English. Although saying like English means it's a simile. Oh no! So, there's that, but like, my voice is just destroyed. Because that's what happens, probably because of the fact that when you're drinking, you just yell a lot more in general. But also, number two, because I love my lists. Oh man, I love my lists. Number two is that I'm James Bond right now. Look at that, that's like a finger gun. And, what was I saying again? My brain just stopped dead in its tracks because now I'm just thinking about James Bond and how amazing Roger Moore is. The best of the James Bonds. But the whatever my list was not that important apparently because it completely escaped my mind. As I said, alcohol, it might still be in my system because I need to go ahead and figure out the exact rate of decay and then figure out that I drank a lot. I drank more than probably I ever had before in my life, or at least in a short, well, not really in a short amount of time because I did get alcohol poisoning before. But that's I don't even know if I told that story exactly on any of these things exactly, but it just basically, if you are alone and you have a bottle of rum, don't try to chug it because you can't chug things, and then don't. No, you need to be very controlled when you're drinking. Don't be an idiot because alcohol poisoning sucks. And yeah, even more so if you're on your own at home. And yeah, oops. But that's why you be around a bunch of friends and into a very careful environment, and you drink a ton of water, because that's also probably another reason why I don't get hangovers, because, well, I wasn't drinking, well, I might have actually drank about this much water during the night, because probably drank about that much beer, yeah? Even though that much beer, I don't know if that's a lot, to be honest. Because that's about, like, how much a pitcher usually is when you go to a bar, and you're just like, hey, give me a pitcher. And then people just start drinking a pitcher all night long. But if you drink a lot of water, it's all good. At least for me, in particular. Everyone is different, and that is a thing. But Christmas parties. So I don't know if there's any particular story that I should start off with other than the crock pot. Because, man, I got this. I am the worst for being unlucky. I'm just gonna look at this. This is even in the French side. So you can't even tell anything that is on this if you're not French. Because, you know, le majorité doigenan. Those are like two French words that I wouldn't even be able to pronounce even if I tried, so that's why I just messed around. But, I won that because still, I'm super, super unlucky. Whenever it's like a wedding, any sort of food event, I do not have the capability of being the first table to eat. It's always like I'm one of the last tables, if not the last. And essentially we're playing a game like, oh, guess that song. And then somebody from your table has to run up and just like go, that is Freebird. That was actually the song that we got to be able to eat. And I'm just like, I figured out what the song was after we already got it, because I'm very slow at figuring out what the songs are regularly, because I'm not very good unless it's like, hey, that's the Ramones, Blitzkrieg Bop, you know, because it's very easy. As soon as you hear the first, like, 0.1 of a second of Blitzkrieg Bop, you know what it is. So the other songs, I'm just like, I don't know what this is. Even if it's Queen, I don't know what this is. Although, to be fair, sometimes, like, I'm just sitting in my car, just, like, listening to my phone music, and a Queen song pops up, and I'm just like, is this headlong, or is this like One Vision, or I don't even know. And I'm just like so confused. And then it gets into the chorus. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's what the song is. And that's just me when I'm sober. Then when I'm drinking, because I was like 3 beers in at that point when we were doing that before the food, probably even 4 because I had like 6 of them on the table. And I was the first one to finish a whole beer, I think, at the Christmas party, because I was walking around going like, hey, where do you bring the empties? And I was just asking everybody, and they're just like, I don't know, put it on that shelf over there. So I just put it on the shelf, and somebody just like walked in. And they're just like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? He's wearing a suit. He's wearing a suit from the 70s for some reason, and he's going ahead and putting a beer bottle on the shelf? What? If this makes no sense. I don't know, but like, it's pretty good. So yeah, I was multiple beers in at that point, so I had no idea for songs. I have no idea. Figured out Freebird still way too late, but I'm unlucky for getting food, but I'm super lucky at winning things. And like all of my table, there was, let's see, there's 4 of us there. I guess it's about 8, because 8 is usually a normal amount of people to have in a round table. Or if you're on a king's table, they have precisely 8 people at the table. Yes, for the kings. The king of red lions in particular. Exactly. I don't know. But there was that we were very lucky that at first I think we actually went in a row, because it was just like the friend that I knew the best from Nate, that she won popcorn maker, I think. It was a popcorn maker and like a bunch of random things. Then her boyfriend won like a big thing of nuts and various, like, I think there was hot chocolate and some other things too. And then after that, the next thing pops up, and I see like them picking up the crock pot, and I'm just like, how much do you want to bet that I'm going to win this? How much do you want to bet I'm going to win this? Because I knew it as soon as I saw the thing. I knew I was going to win this thing. I don't know if it's a good thing, because I was still 3 or 4 drinks in at the time, and I'm just like, I'm going to win this, and I don't even know what I'm going to be doing with it. Because I don't crock, and I don't pot. I don't do the weeds, you know? I'll do exactly 1 weed here. We were doing some jokes later on in the night about weeds, because, you know, it's going to be legal in Canada soon enough, and that's going to be weird. That's going to be weird, man. I'm still going to stay away from that stuff, because I don't need that in my head. But it's just like, yeah, there's, I don't remember where I was going to go with that. It's going to be illegal. Anyway, crockpot. I saw it coming up, and I'm just like, oh no. But I'm just like, yes, I want to win this at the same time. I don't know why, but I want to win this. So then, like, they're just drawing names for, like, who's going to win, and then the guy who was reading out the names, he's the one that gave me a ride to get to the party. And I mentioned, like, when I first got into his vehicle, I'm just like, I was going to wear a really nice, ugly Christmas sweater that had a llama on it, and it had, like, a little scarf, and it was a fuzzy llama, and it was so awesome. But they only had extra larges and larges. I probably wanted a medium, you know, or maybe a small. Probably not small, because sweaters go over top of things. I can fit into small clothing. I think this is actually a medium, what I'm wearing right now, which is strange, because I usually do wear small, but I also can do medium. I can do it all, because I'm a butterball and stuff. References to things nobody even understands. So he was he paused for a second when he pulled out the name, and I'm just like, oh, this is going to be me, this is going to be me, this is going to be me. And then he said, like, oh, well, this guy, you're going to be impressing all the ladies with your crock-potting skills. I'm just like, oh, yep, this is me. And then he says my name, and I walk up and do this. I shake it over my head a little bit like I'm a Tusken Raider. Or maybe a Stanley Cup champion, who knows? But when you're drunk, you figure out something to make things more entertaining. When you're even sober, you think of things to make things more entertaining. But I wanted to be more entertaining than just take it and walk away. I'm just like, I need to do something. So I just, yeah, I want a crock pot. Because why not? I don't know why, but crock pot. I'm probably not going to be using that. And that's how you can tell that it wouldn't be sponsored anyway, because I'm not going to be using it. But even then, if anybody wants to sponsor me, even if it was Crockpot, that'd be awful. If like Crockpot ever sponsored anybody on YouTube, or if in any way whatsoever, that would be hilarious and awful. I don't know about you, but I think it would just be awful. But it would be hilarious. So that's fair enough. I would be fine with it, even if it is awful. So, yeah, I gotta impress all the ladies with my crockpotting skills, because, yeah, I'm just so dashing with my good looks and my crockpots and whatnot. Because, man, I think that it might be partially from me wearing a suit. Or it might be because of the fact that, like, I'm not that bad of a good look. Like, I'm a pretty good looking guy, I like to think. Especially when it comes to radio. Well, there's like two different distinct groups. Well, actually, it's three, just like in real life. So I was gonna say, like, there's like the ugly people that are in radio, and then there's the beautiful people that are in radio. There's like no much in between, which is really strange. Because in radio, it's just like either you're really good looking or you're just like, eh. So that means that I'm really good looking then. Yeah, let's go with that. I'm going to say that's true. It's either one end of the extreme or the other. Radio. I'm going to keep with this. So, well, it doesn't even matter anyway, because I'm not even an on-air personality. Because it's still for them. Like, there's this one guy, I think he's in Edmonton, but like, he looks like he could be a model, and he's doing radio. Just like, what the heck, man? What the heck? But then again, people say that, like, I could do modeling, which they could be right, they could be wrong. I have no clue. So, models, why are you doing radio? Shaking my finger at you. So, I think it might be partially the suit, but, man, I think this is probably a good segue into just a really, really weird thing that happened to me during the night, because this is like I can still drink a lot of alcohol and also drink a lot of water, because that's the way that you don't forget things. Maybe, I don't know, I just don't have the ability to like get blackout drunk as all the kids say it and stuff like that, because it just isn't possible for me. Water. But still, it's just like, I can't do that. But I remember most of the night, like, as well as I can. And it's just like, I guess, along with everything that you do in life, you don't remember, like, how many steps you took to get to the fridge to pull out the milk and pour it on your cereal, and how much, like, little milk you put in your cereal and all that. You don't remember every little detail of your life, whether you're sober or not sober. I'm going to be always doing the compare and contrast here, I guess. And so that's the thing, is that I still remember pretty much everything, because I can't forget things. And you can never forget, there was some weird lady that, I don't know why, but she just, like, I was standing in line to get beer, and she took me away from the line. I wanted to, or at least maybe I was lining up to get a shot or something like that, because all the classiest people do shots of Baileys. That's what we were doing. Because, you know, if somebody says, hey, you want to do a shot of Baileys, it's hard to say no, because it's Baileys. As far as I know, like, in what they were saying, there's not even that high of a percentage of alcohol even in it. So you're just like, oh yeah, I'll do a shot of Baileys. Why not? It just tastes delicious, and people aren't, I'm getting it for free anyway, so yeah. But this one lady just kind of like grabbed me, and she's just like, oh yeah, come over here and meet so-and-so. And like, we were just, and had me sit down at the table, and it was really weird. She was just asking me questions, and like, it's always weird when you get the question, just like, oh yeah, what's your dad's name? Like, who's your dad? And then like they ask, like, and I say usually just the first name, and then they're just like, oh, what's the last name? And I'm just like, oh no, it's gonna be one of these conversations. And then like somehow out of it, like, because I think maybe I tried to transition away from that, but then it transitioned back, and I screwed myself over because of the fact that I'm just like, oh yeah, this suit that I'm wearing, it's from the 70s. It's one that my dad wore, blah blah blah, and all that. So then they're just like, oh no, I don't believe you. And then I'm just like, well, I think it went on from there, and they're just like, oh yeah, take off your coat thing. And I'm just like, oh boy, what am I doing here? So I took off my like jacket for my suit and showed them, and they're just like, oh yeah, this actually is from the 70s. I'm just like, well, yeah, of course it is. And so it escalated from there, and they're just saying for me to take off my shoes, and I'm just like, no, I'm not taking off my shoes. I was very adamant saying no, but she kept saying yes, and I'm just like, okay, fine, I'll take off my shoes. And because at least that one was already untied by whatever means happened. Maybe it's her witch sorcery, I don't know, but it was really weird. I don't know what was going on there. She was taking advantage of my alcoholism and my ability to say yes to things, but then again, I said no a lot. I'm just like, no, I'm not going to take off my shoes because that's dumb. It's really dumb. Why would I be taking off my shoes? But I still took off my shoes. So, yeah, because I had to prove that these were new shoes. I bought the shoes right the day before. The suit was old, the shoes were new, and it was cool. They were cool. And then, like, they just kept asking me weird things like that, essentially. I don't think there was much other than that exactly, because at that point, I'm just like, I gotta get out of this conversation. At this point, like, I think after that, she's just like, oh yeah, take off your socks. I'm just like, I'm out of here. So essentially, the best way to get out of any conversation is saying like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go check over on my drinks on the other table. I don't want anybody to take those things, because I still had all my drinks piled up on the table. And if anybody took my drinks, I'd be very upset. I worked hard to get those drinks. I stood in line multiple times. I grabbed 2 at a time, went back to the table, went in line. There's a lot of lines that I went through. So I worked hard for those. I didn't want them to go away. I went back, and I'm just like, oh, that's what she was asking. Seriously. It wasn't... the clothing thing was a really weird thing, but the weirdest thing, I think, is I couldn't really understand what she was saying for a bit of it, but she was asking, like, so, who are your mentors in life? And I don't know if she was meaning, like, mentors as in, like, is there a mentor at the company that I look up to or something like that? Or do I strive to be, like, this, like, manager or something like that in the company or something like that? Or maybe she's wanting to know just, like, who are my, who are your heroes, essentially, for just in general in life. So she said, as an example, she just said some random name that I didn't even understand, because still, she was talking too quiet for how loud the music was, and I'm just like, oh yeah, And then she's just like, oh yeah, so what are your mentors? And she just kept mentioning that, and I'm just like, Robert Downey Jr.? So I just said Robert Downey Jr., and she's just like, oh yeah, I don't know that guy. I'm just like, well, in that case, and that's when I just, like, left, pretty much. Because if you don't know Robert Downey Jr., what are you doing with your life? You old lady? She's probably, like, what, 50-something? Maybe late 50s, I'd say. It's hard to say exactly. It's somewhere in the 50s, early or late. But all I know is that she was crazy. She was just messed up and crazy, and I needed to get out of there. Because you just gotta get right out of here. Queen. Bohemian Rhapsody, because that's... whenever you have music playing, there was Bohemian Rhapsody at one point, so you have to sing along. If you know the words, you can join in too. Because it's also the... Oh man, if we could get the Donkey Kong rap in there, that would have been hilarious. Everybody would have been like, what is going on? And then I would just be dancing away and singing the song. clapping your hands. Yeah, I would be grabbing other people's hands and clapping them together. Just, yeah, you love it. You love the DK rap. Not really. I'm not that outgoing. Even if I was drinking, I'm not that outgoing. Because no matter what, like, because that's the thing about alcohol is that it doesn't affect you in that way if you don't let it to. If you just, it is what you make of it, essentially. It's just like your life in general. Your life is what you make of it. But the thing about alcohol is that it just impairs your ability to think a little bit. It impairs your vision a little bit. It just like, I guess your motor skills and all of those things. Because it essentially just like thins your blood, right? That's kind of the thing. I think I even talked about that a little bit last time that I was doing the Christmas party roundup. Because no matter what, each time that there's a Christmas party for radio, there's probably going to be a crazy person that I have to talk to. The last time was not necessarily a crazy person because I really liked that guy. That he was the news. He was like the news director before, but now I think he's sales. But yeah, he was just continually shaking my hand, so that was weird. But this time was much weirder because I was told to take off my coat thing and take off my shoes, take off my socks. If I was there any longer, she probably would have asked me to take off my shirt or my pants. That's why I had to leave. I absolutely had to leave. That would not be possible for me to do any of those things because still, this is in a public place, and even then taking off my shoe, I'm just like, this is messed up. This is just messed up. I am not happy right now. But I didn't show it because even when I'm inebriated, I'm good at acting. Because that's why I don't do the other things, and I'm not outgoing because I'm not a good actor. Wait a second. I just contradicted myself. But not really. So, that was a thing. Because also still speaking of like, I gotta move my feet around a little bit more. Because that's like sitting at this angle kind of just like, it feels weird. Because I can't really, I could try to like lean back for one of these TheCanoCams, but then again I have to move my mic like awkwardly in front of me that way, and I'm just like, it probably wouldn't work so well. It'd probably fall on top of me before I would actually be able to do what I want to do here. That's why I need to have a boom mic. If I have a boom mic with a shotgun mic on it thing, it's just, cause that's probably what boom mics are for the most part. I think they're shotgun mics, which would be bad in the closed room. Whatever. But speaking of like inebriation to the point of forgetting things, I was talking to she's definitely now a friend of mine because man, that person was amazing. That she just like heard about that I did YouTube stuff from like, because I was just talking to a couple guys and they're just like, that was her boyfriend just like went ahead and like ran over, I guess, and told her. She was just like so excited about it because I guess he was excited. They're just like, oh boy, YouTube. And so we just like had a YouTube conversation, and then she was just like asking like, oh yeah, so what are your favorite games? And of course, number 1, always Perfect Dark. Number 2, always Majora's Mask. I was talking about GTA, and that kind of went ahead along the lines of like, oh, so yeah, she was saying like, oh yeah, I never actually played a GTA game before. And I was saying like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have either, to be honest, if I didn't go and buy an Xbox, because the fact that like growing up I was all Nintendo, and even then I bought a DS just to play Chinatown Wars, that GTA game, and I never bought Chinatown Wars, so that was awkward. But I was mentioning that, and then I think we went along the lines of then after that, like, speaking of 3DS, oh boy, and I was just going along those lines, saying that like, yeah, one of my top 5 games now is probably it's that Something Between Worlds game, that Legend of Zelda one on the 3DS, and I'm just like, I'm too drunk to remember what the word is there. And she's just like, yeah, I'm too drunk as well, but like, yeah, I know what you mean. And I have a feeling she might have actually knew what I mean, like I meant it by that, but she might not have at the same time. I'm not too sure, but how the balls do I forget the name Link? Because Link is one of the most important names in the series, other than Zelda, of course, because that's a part of the title of all of the games, really. but Link is in a couple of the titles, like A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds. I forgot Link. I thought of that this morning when I was still drunk, because still I woke up drunk, and that's the awful thing. But I woke up drunk, and I'm just thinking, like, man, I forgot the word Link. How did I forget the word Link? I am awful. So, yeah, there was, along with the weirdness of Christmas parties, there's also the goodness of winning a crock pot, the goodness of gaining another pretty cool friend, I'd say, because both of those people were pretty nice. And I think I met, well, yeah, there's a few other people that I guess, like, I kind of have more, I'm networking. That's what it is. Networking, but also gaining more friends. That's kind of essentially what it is. Because then when I, for some reason, go to Blairmore, if I ever went to Blairmore, or if I went to Brooks, for whatever reason, I would go to Brooks. I know a couple people there now. So that's always a good thing, that just having people that you know, that you enjoy talking to, and it's a nice kind of thing, you know? So there's that. But, like, what was the other thing? I don't know if there's anything else, like, particularly that was, like, a standout weird thing that happened during the night, other than just, like, still people when they're weed, man. I don't understand it, but I don't know if it's just, like, a Canadian thing or what, because it seems like, or maybe if it's just a radio thing or something, because there's a lot of people in radio, it seems like, that smoke weed. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it in general anyway, because you don't really need that kind of thing. You don't need it. Alcohol is just fun because it's what happens to my brain naturally anyway when I'm not eating. If you think about it, it's kind of true. Or it just happens naturally to my brain when I'm just tired. Or it's more of a natural thing, I think. I think alcohol is more natural, at least in my opinion. But my opinions are not to be proclaimed, I guess, exactly, or just like anything along those lines, because everybody has different opinions on these things, and people always say, like, oh, alcohol is worse than this and that, because there's always the negatives, there's always the positives of everything. Even black cart heroin. Ah, boy, dyslexia. Black tar heroin, yes. Even that has its positives somehow. Or maybe I'm thinking of crystal meth. That's a pretty terrible, terrible drug that people do. As far as I know, that's, like, really messed up. Because I think that, like, maybe this was just propaganda, so then people don't do drugs. But they say, like, it basically makes, like, hole, like, kind of damage to your brain or something like that. I don't even remember the exact quote, but they say it damages your brain in some sort of way for, like, those things. So, yeah, those things are, yeah, they've even those have their merits somehow, because they get Mr. Heisenberg lots of money. That's why it's a benefit. So, yeah, because I just went up to that, like, their hotel room afterward. There's just, like, a bunch of us were just like, oh yeah, let's go up to the hotel room and just, like, hang out for a bit more, because the party was pretty much over, because it was like 12:30 and we were supposed to get out of the room, and we were going to be playing pool. That was a couple things that we were going to be doing. We were going to play pool. That didn't work out because they shut down the pool lounge, which sucked. Wanted to play some pool, but we couldn't do that, so we just, like, kind of went up to the apartment, and they just started talking about their weeds, you know, exactly one weed. So that was what they were doing, and it's awful. It's absolutely awful. Oh boy, not really, because as long as they're very tolerant in my saying no, unlike that other woman that didn't allow me to say no, so I ran away. Because I ran so far away. Oh, boy. Just to get away. And luckily enough, I didn't see her at all for the rest of the night. And if she emails me this next week, it's going to be really weird. It's going to be really weird, because she said, like, oh, you should just email me your mentors. And I'm hoping she was drunk to the point that she won't remember, because unlike me, a lot of people get to a point of drinking that they can't remember, but I don't have the capability of forgetting things. So that's just a curse that I live with. Oh boy. It's a good one though. I'd rather be able to remember things than not. So there's that. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else like spectacular that happened in the party, unless there's just like something that pops up when I'm just talking about other things, in which case I might talk about them. But man, Christmas parties are the way to go. They're just a lot of fun to mess around with and get free things. Lots and lots of free things. Crock pots. Man, crock pots. Oh, there's a recipes included. That is impressive. Uses less energy than conventional ovens. Removable stoneware. Oh boy, I didn't even know this had stoneware. Buy your crock pot today. See, look at that. I'd be so good at selling things. I totally didn't do that during the summer, pretty much. That's what I was, because, you know, Summer Cruiser, it's essentially you're selling an event, saying like, oh, you got to come down here right now. This is an awesome event. They have balloons. They have the inflatable bouncy castles. They have 4 of them over there right next to the main stage. Lots of fun. And also, while you're here, still get some free stuff from me and say hello. And yeah, that's about it. That's about it. If you don't, you're just an awful person. Yep, you're just an awful person. But now is about the time that I'm going to move into my other section, because I haven't talked enough about video games. I talked about a little bit of video games, but I haven't talked enough about video games. So I still have some time to talk about video games. Actually, I could talk about, ooh boy, speaking of alcohol, wine night. That's what I actually have on my list. Because since the last time I recorded this, I actually did drink my wine, and that was basically my litmus test in a way to figure out how much I can drink. Because that was like the drunkest I've been, probably, was when I had my wine, my half a bottle of wine or whatever, and I was drinking a bunch of water with that. Because I was figuring out like the specific ratio of water. Yeah? Chemistry. So there's that, but then there's the Christmas party where I was much drunker. I'd say much more. Well, maybe not much more, but you know, much more. Only one much, not 2 muches, not 3 muches, but 1 muches. That's still plural, so I shouldn't be saying that way if I'm saying plural. But yeah, like, oh yeah, I need to possibly run over into the other room. You know what? Yeah, I can do a quick cut probably, because of the fact that it doesn't really matter if I do a quick cut. As long as I do that, I'm going to do that. So, this is why I'm actually just going to use the audio from a camera right now instead of that, because that's not possible. But also, yeah, this is still possible to do the audio from the camera because of the fact that this is not on a half-hour mark. But look at that. I'm a hipster now. Hipsters are cool. Yeah. It's like Doctor Who and whatnot. Because that's also like, it kind of, if these were slightly smaller, like for the, I don't know if you would call that depth or something like that, they would be, you know, almost like the 10th Doctor. Almost. I don't know. Ugh. Oh boy. Don't mind me falling over there, sir. So, I could just wear these for the rest of the time here. That would be awful because I'm wearing contacts right now, and wearing contacts with also glasses, it really messes up your vision. Like, I cannot see at all, but I can at the same time. It's just like, the main thing is that when you just like look from one side to the other, then it just like, your eyes just hurt. So if you're just staring at one thing in particular, like I was looking at my board, it's perfectly fine. But this in general, like, not good if you're doing it that way. But I got some new glasses because of the fact that like I have my full-time job now that I can afford glasses, which is awesome. What's even more awesome is that I got $75 back when I bought my glasses because of the fact that I have an insurance company thing. You know, you go ahead, buy glasses because apparently I need to see. Then I go ahead and get some glasses. Also, I haven't restarted my counter, so I lost about 2 minutes probably. Balls. So, yeah, you get money rebates or whatever for buying stuff that is important. So maybe I might go back to a dentist for like the first time in multiple years. It might be a good idea to do. Maybe. I don't know. But I might go back to a dentist for the main reason that I can. It won't cost a ton of money. It will cost a bit of money, I think, but it won't be like ridiculous. So I got some new glasses. I want some hipster ones, because why not? Because they actually look really good on me, all in all. So the hipster kind of glasses, because they're like the new trend. And also because like these are like 70s kind of style, if you think about it. Because if you go based off of Austin Powers, yeah, Austin Powers kind of wears like the big rim kind of glasses like that. And he is from the 60s, 70s. Yeah, baby, yeah, and stuff. So much enthusiasm. Dog. He also totally says dog. Totally. But yeah, I was thinking of wearing those potentially with my 70s suit because it matches sort of in a way, but not really. So yeah, I just wanted kind of glasses like that, and I finally do have them because it's good to not wear contacts all the time. It's good to have a mixture and have the ability to not have to worry. Because that's also what I did that one weekend, is I just bought a bunch of new shirts. I went to West Edmonton Mall. I think I didn't buy any games at West Ed. That was weird. I usually go there and buy some games, but then again, Game City is okay, but it's not the best. They don't, they have old games, but the problem with Game City is that they don't take good care of their cases. They do a very good job of buffering because their buffer machine is good. They have a good buffer machine for discs, but their cases are just like, I can't collect these things. You didn't clean them off or anything. I don't want to have to do that. Give me nice clean cases that are perfect in every way. Then I'll be good. Then I will go ahead and buy. Thumbs ups for everyone. I'm not buying your stuff, but thumbs ups for everyone. So that, and also I guess I just remembered what I forgot to do. I might need to do that in a different video, because I need to do my best, because there's the best of 2016 obviously that I'm doing for my YouTube channel, but I want to also have a thing of what I think is my favorite movies of the year and my favorite games of the year, because I don't actually really know what my favorite game of 2016 is currently, because there weren't a lot of games this year. If you go by Wii U games, there were Star Fox. Star Fox. That was the only choices. No, but there was another one, which is Paper Mario Color Splash. Those are the only two games that came out this year. Star Fox, Paper Mario Color Splash. There might have been another one, because Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE came out last year, I'm pretty sure, along with Terraria. Oh no, Twilight Princess HD, that came out this year for Wii U, but that's an old game, so it doesn't really count. It doesn't even count as much as Wind Waker HD did, because of the fact that Wind Waker HD was more of an upgrade, also because of the fact I never played Wind Waker before, so it was a brand new game for me. Twilight Princess I played before once, and it was a good game, but I don't know, I have a hard time getting the motivation to continue that series because it wasn't getting a lot of views, and also I still already played the game before, so it's not as special. It is special, but it's not as special. It's a weird kind of situation that I'm in for that. So my favorite game of the year, other than that, I guess Doom came out this year. Doom was really good on Xbox One, and also I guess PC. I think it was on PS4 as well. It should be on PS4 if nothing else. I just don't play a lot of PS4, so I don't know. I don't know about any of the multi-platform games on that console because I only buy the ones that are exclusive for PS4, like Until Dawn, the Pokemon trainer, that is, or the Uncharted collection, or The Order, The Last of Us. Yeah, that's pretty much like all of them. Oh, I guess like Infamous Second Son. There's actually quite a few exclusives for PS4. There are more exclusives probably for PS4 currently than Xbox One that are worth playing. But then again, I play more with Xbox One exclusives. So, yeah, I think it's the PS4 exclusives. They're better games, like, in general. They have like a higher amount of like the good quality, like many hour games. They're like 40 hours long, which I'm not going to be able to do. So I just don't look at them so much compared to like Gears of War 4, Halo 5. What other good exclusives were there for Xbox One currently? None of the games I have up there are exclusives, pretty much. Because of the fact that, like, yeah, Xbox One I use as my system for multi-platform games. Because it's just easy for me, and also I like achievements. So, yeah, there weren't a lot of exclusives so far, I guess. Well, also, because a lot of my exclusives for Xbox One came out, like, when the 1 or 2 years into their life cycle. And it might have actually been 2 years old. This might be the second year of Xbox One. Probably is. Balls. Okay, so, all of the exclusives for Xbox One came out in the first year. I went ahead and bought all of those. They're in my other collection section, not this section right here. So, problematic, potentially, but not at the same time. So, PS4 probably has better exclusives still. If these ones just are smaller, they're shorter games that I can actually play. But yeah, I guess like other than that, I might even have to give like my favorite game of the year to Dark Souls 3 because it was like the only new game that came out this year, and it was a really good game. It's just not as good as Dark Souls 2 or Dark Souls 1 in my opinion. Because Dark Souls 1 was just like, oh man, I got into the series, this is awesome. Dark Souls 2 just continued the awesomeness, made it easier to just like get things done. It just wasn't as tedious, which is the biggest thing. It's not necessarily an easier game. I guess Dark Souls 2 might be an easier game than Dark Souls 1, but it's just more convenient, I'd say, still, compared to Dark Souls 1, which is just like, you have to run everywhere. Oh, why? Why do I have to run everywhere? I absolutely hate this right now. Please just kill me. Oh, no, you already did kill me because it's Dark Souls. Please. So, that's the way things were. And Dark Souls 2, that's why I love it so much. And then Scholar of the First Sin. Oh, boy, Dark Souls. So, Dark Souls 2 is my favorite of that series. But, yeah. In terms of favorite games of the year and whatnot, I don't have a lot. It's easy for favorite movies of the year because number one has to be Deadpool, because Deadpool is still pretty much like my favorite superhero, because he's not really a superhero, but he is. In the movie, he's actually more of a superhero than a super anything else. And then just a super guy. I think you're a very super guy. And then people are just like, oh yes, thank you. I very much appreciate you calling me a super person. Because we have to be more gender neutral. You have to be more gender neutral with your pronouns. Okay. But what about if I'm doing French? Then I can't. But it's ill plural. Come on. It's a bunch. There's one guy with like 20,000 girls. It's masculine. Come on. But yeah, my favorite is Deadpool of the year for movies. But this is actually before I've seen Rogue One, so I don't know if I can actually say it officially, because the fact that Rogue One, I've heard amazing things for it, and people are just like saying like, oh, this has one of the best Star Wars fights ever in it, so it might be pretty high up there on my favorite list. But excluding Rogue One, because I haven't seen it yet, of all the other movies that I've seen this year, yeah, Deadpool's number one. The number two is Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange. If Deadpool didn't come out this year, Doctor Strange would be my favorite movie of the year, excluding Rogue One, because I haven't seen it. Because man, Doctor Strange was trippy and psychedelic, and it was awesome. I just liked the looks of it. I liked the magical kind of mysteriousness, but also grounded in reality because he's a surgeon. You know, it just all makes sense, and it just works. I don't know how it works so well, because it shouldn't work so well in a movie form, I wouldn't think. But it just does. And that's probably why Doctor Strange is just such a good movie, in my opinion. Because it just works, and it's a self-contained adventure. Despite the fact that the ending, if you stay after the credits, it's kind of a bit of a cliffhanger. I don't know. Like, if you stay after the credits ever, it's a cliffhanger. That's kind of the way that the after-credit things work. Unless... I'm trying to think of what the after-credit thing was for the Avengers. Because it might have been the half credit. Because after the first, like, oh, these are all the cast members, then they have, like, a little mini after-credit thing, which I think might have been the shawarma for the Avengers. And then after that, they might have actually had, like, the tease to start the next section of the Marvel movies. And probably talking about the Infinity Gauntlet. That might have actually been it. So it's kind of it's a tease. It's a tease that's kind of a cliffhanger in a way, because they're just like, oh no, what could be happening next? I do not know. I should have been doing that while I was going like this, but whatever. So, with the last few minutes, I still want to talk more about video games and how my voice is dying. Because my voice did partially stop for like half a second there. But I managed to get Brute Force. Brute to the Force. This is a brand new copy. I think I got it for like, what, $30 maybe? That is incredible. Brute Force. I don't know if this will actually work, because like Xbox has always had problems, even with like, because Xbox One, people are just thinking like, oh, why aren't all these games backwards compatible? To be fair, even if with the backwards compatible games that can be played on Xbox 360 for the original Xbox on there, like, I'm pretty sure not all of them work, because Halo 1, it works on for backwards compatibility. Star Wars Battlefront 2 100% works for backwards compatibility when you're using it on the Xbox 360 and whatnot. So that all does work, but I don't know if Brute Force would, because it's a very more obscure game. And so yeah, I got that, and I'm really happy about it. I also found a lot of just other various games, like Dead Rising, Chop Till You Drop. Because I remember seeing like on Reviews on the Run, that kind of TV show that was Canadian and whatnot. Like, there were those TV shows that were on, and they were always talking about games like that, and I'm just like, oh man, someday I want to own those things. And I just love that this year, after this year pretty much of 2016, I own almost all of the games I've ever wanted. And it's an amazing... I need to write down something. Scarface, The World Is Yours. Future Glacier Kano, write that down. Write this down. I don't know any more of the words to that song. So when you need to pull down your pants, write this down on your leg, and then when you take off your pants again, then you'll remember what you wrote down. It's a smart idea. Country music. Oh yeah, because I think I was doing a parody one time that I'm just like, I'm getting really distracted, but also because I think this is funny. I think this is funny, and you might as well, I'm not too sure. But there was a country singer that was doing like Away in a Manger for a Christmas song, and I was just thinking like, that's essentially a song, that's a Christmas song that is taught to children. That's just a children's song. It's basically like singing as a regular song for a country music star to be doing If You're Happy and You Know It. And they're just like, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. I can't do my parody of it exactly right now, because my voice doesn't actually hit the right notes to be country. But I can sort of sing country, which I've figured out before, but my voice is destroyed right now. So that's my excuse. when I was doing it the other day, it sounded cool. Now it sounds like crap. Because my voice sounds like crap right now, but it doesn't at the same time because of the fact that it can be very deep and seductive, but not really. Keith David. So, specifically the Arbiter of Keith David. So, there was something else I was going to mention, I think, other than country music. Oh, country music. I don't think I have any of my other games, but I think the main reason why I was really wanting to buy Chop Till You Drop right now is because of the fact that it's a big time of year for Dead Rising. It was Dead Rising 4 just came out. It's barely even Dead Rising anymore. But, well, at the same time it is. It's still Dead Rising. It's just not. There's just a couple changes. So, I bought, like, there's even, like, the Xbox One, there's, like, the remasters, exactly, which aren't of Dead Rising 1, and then there's Dead Rising 2. So I bought those, and then I have this, and then I bought Dead Rising 4, which I really want to play, but I haven't had the opportunity to. I really want to play this as well. I want to play Dead Rising 1, like, remastered on Xbox One. Oh boy, Dead Rising, I love the series, but I just don't have the time to play it ever, and it's really, really depressing to me, because it's a good game. It's a good franchise. It's just, I don't have the time to play video games. I don't have the time to play video games other than for recording. And even then, like, I tried to get ahead just so I could edit videos for, like, the best of 2016, because that takes a long time to edit, and I don't have the time to record when I'm doing that. But even then, I'm running out of videos right now, and I might need to record something right after this, because I don't have enough videos, and I'm going to be screwed running out of videos by the end of the year. But then again, I have a couple things banked up with Surge Hunter that might just work out. So that might be something to look forward to. If you have watched a bit of everything that I've done, you'll probably know what I'll end up putting on the channel. That is a very, very long series that I need to start uploading, but yeah, it just didn't happen yet. And it's probably, oh no! How's that even possible? Oh, it might have been over an hour now. So I was an hour and 46 seconds now, like, on my watch. So I'm a couple minutes over. I think that's pretty much the end. Other than I want to say, look at this. I finally own the full collection. I'm going to move over still slightly more, but not really, because I'm already probably turned it off. Turn that thing off. But I have all of the Destroy All Humans games. That's another series I really just want to play for fun. Because there's so many games I just want to play for fun. Not even necessarily recording, but I just love the games and I need to play them because they're good. And Destroy All Humans, like, I love that franchise. I used to play it with a friend of mine on PS2. That was the second game of Destroy All Humans 2. Make war, not love. I always have to second guess myself a little bit whenever I say it because it's the opposite, you know? People always say make love, not war, but you're supposed to make war, not love. So, that's a thing. My throat is really hurting me, so this is probably a good place to end. I did a lot since the last TheCanoCam. I really should have been talking about more than just a Christmas party and a bunch of video games, but you know what? I think it was worth it. Other than just one last thing I'd like to mention, that during the Edmonton Comic-Con back at the end of September, it's been that long. Man, I'm awful. But back then, Carrie Fisher was at the Edmonton Comic-Con. Gary, her dog, walked past me in the convention center. Isn't that amazing? I just have to say that because I'm just walking along and I'm just like, wait a second. That's Carrie Fisher's dog. Why is nobody actually doing anything about this? And he just was walking along, just doing his own thing. And then I see like a couple people that might have been security-ish go by and trying to like pick him up and just like, oh, Gary, come on. And they just are trying to be careful and like not let anybody figure out that it's Gary. But obviously, if you know Carrie Fisher, you'd know about Gary Fisher, the dog. So I don't think anybody really noticed because they're not big enough Carrie Fisher fans or something, or just big enough Star Wars fans to know, but her dog ran past me and it was awesome. So that's like pretty much all that I had to talk about for the things that happened over the past few months. So I think that all in all, I wrapped things up really well. I want to do another thing very soon. It probably won't be an hour long of me talking about my favorite games of 2016. I kind of touched on that already. I already touched on the movies. I might do more of that. I might not, just because of the fact that I already kind of did talk about it. But I don't know. I just like the idea of having a video specifically just for that. I don't know. I gotta figure things out for this channel in general, because I have problems. I have so many problems with not doing things. Because there's so many things to get done. There's so many things to constantly get done when you make a video per day on a main channel and everything else. You have to be constantly editing. You have a full-time job. Life is tough, man. Life is just so tough. Well, it is. I'm saying it in a sarcastic kind of way. It is tough, but it isn't at the same time. As I said in the beginning of my best of 2016 intro that I recorded, there's always the negatives, there's always the positives. You gotta take the negatives with the positives, take the positives with the negatives. Everything all works out, it all balances out. Because it's a lot of fun to be making YouTube videos. It does take up a lot of time. It balances itself out. I just need to find some time now to go ahead and play some video games, because that's what I want to do. Maybe I'm gonna do that right now, because I'm overtime right now. I'm taking care of business and working overtime like I do every single day. Always taking care of that business. And showing everybody how sexy I am with my crock pot. I still love that. I want to say it's just because of the fact that I'm slightly better looking than them. That's why they always mention my looks when they're talking about crock pots. I don't know. This is the face of crock pot now. That's the face of it. So, yeah. Maybe I should feel more confident in myself, because people always say like that I'm good looking, and then I just like put myself down so much because I'm a really self-deprecating person. But anyway, that's what happens when I can't be cocky anymore. I don't have the capability. But then again, I do. Anyway, that is still going to be it for now. I will see you whenever I see you next on this channel. Hopefully soon. Because also it's always good to have one of these things after Christmas. I might get another crock pot. Oh boy, that'd be really awkward, but it would be hilarious at the same time. I'm gonna get a Doctor Who thing no matter what, so I got that. So hopefully soon, maybe not. These things are an hour long for a reason, maybe even an hour and 10 minutes long for a reason. Just because of the fact I don't do them as often, and it's good to get as much as you can in the videos. Catch up, catching up with all of the things. Catch up with Glacier Kano. Delicious sugary ketchup. But yeah, this is still gonna be the end, so goodbye for Crockpot now. Doesn't rhyme, it doesn't make sense. It's not like goodbye for cow, but Crockpot, man. Oh man, I have problems.